бусад үндэсний байгууллагууд өөр сэдвээр одоо амжилттай хяналтын ажил хийсэн өөр сэдвүүдээр хийж байгааг бид сонсох тийм ээ бид тэрийг мэдэх ямар аргаар явуулсныг энэ сонирхох ийм одоо их сонирхолтой байгаа. Бид энэ хяналтын ажлаа эхлэхийн өмнө Австралийн хүний эрхийн үндэсний комиссоос нээлттэй хяналтын ажлыг хийж байсан холбоотой нэлээд олон баримт материалуудыг бас үзэж судалж байсан. Эндээс бас бидэнд одоо санаа авсан зүйл бий.
Given the nature of the issues, we wanted the maximum cooperation and involvement. And in order to achieve that and to stop what becomes almost an automatic knee-jerk defensive reaction, we identified that we would not use the Commission's powers. It was not our intention to use the powers to follow up the inquiry with court action. That we did not see this, if you like, as a name and shame and indict inquiry. And on that basis, we were able to get very high levels of involvement from regional authorities who have the major responsibilities for actually funding public transport, from private operators and their organisations, as well as from central government. And one of the interesting things was these people had never before sort of, in a sense, come together to consider these issues. And so the process of the inquiry actually provided a focus that would otherwise not have occurred.
The first thing we're doing is actually have stakeholders consultations. I think it's really important that communities, indigenous communities, feel that they are being listened to. The other role that we play is actually this, how do you call it, bringing together both states and indigenous peoples on the table and have an opportunity to discuss. Because what we have been told is that they've been inviting governments directly, but to a dialogue, but they never come. So they have seen that having a national human rights institution as a go-between has been quite positive.
Our team went there in the KBK districts and saw for themselves that there were deaths indeed. And not only deaths, there were so many other things which contributed to the poverty existing there. And it was felt necessary to have a very comprehensive inquiry into the conditions, economic conditions, the health conditions in the KBK districts, and arrive at certain solutions to this problem. The Commission chose to inquire into it in the manner of holding a court inquiry. The advantage of court hearings is that you can ask these state government's officers concerned to appear before the Commission and inform the Commission as to what were the reasons behind shortage of food, bad health care, poor education system, poor communication system. So from time to time, the government officials appeared for the Commission, and after listening to them, the Commission issued directions to improve those things.
Actually, there's even a clause in the law that if they don't come, they'll be punished, even in prison and all that. But then we talked about this and we decided that we would make use of the methodology that wouldn't offend people. Now, how can we call in a cabinet minister to our office and say that we want you to tell us this and that? So we started rather quietly, that instead of doing that, we would invite people to come. And eventually, I suggested that we invited those who have been violating people's rights because of the law and so on and so forth, and those who have made complaints to come together. And we started that, and it seemed to work very well. Since it was sort of a new thing, people were a bit surprised. What? You know, am I going to meet with the police? So we would tell them, we'll be there. We'll be there. The commissioners will be there. The staff member will be there. And we have been working now for 5 years. and we have seen the differences. So this is a part of our inquiry. Of course, when it gets to some serious matter, so we need something in writing. We will write it up and we need their signatures, and then we explain to them why and all that kind of things. And in the process of doing that, with the villagers, you know, the so-called marginalized people, we even give them some very, very informal lessons on law, about rights, about their rights, that they have the right to talk to the authorities, to the police, to anybody, and they can't get hurt. We guarantee that they won't get hurt. For the case of another village in the Mae, we would do the same thing, and we chose to meet in the Buddhist temple. It worked very well. And we would invite the Buddhist monk to sit there. They won't say anything because it won't be proper until we ask them. They sit there, and that calms down everybody. That creates the very proper atmosphere.